What if the key to unshakable confidence had been discovered over 1,000 years ago? Imagine a man so brilliant that his words shaped medicine, philosophy and psychology all at once. His name was Ibn Sina. In the West you might know him as Avicenna, and hidden in his writings is a roadmap for confidence that still speaks to you today. Curious how? Stay with me. Think about this. Why do you doubt yourself? Is it fear of failure, fear of being judged, or the sense that you don't really know who you are? Ibn Sina believed all those doubts come from one place: ignorance of your true nature. He argued that you are not just flesh and bone, you are a soul, rational and capable, built to seek truth. Doesn't that idea already shift something inside you? Because if you are more than your mistakes, more than your fears, what's left to stop you? But let's rewind for just a second. Ibn Sina was born in the year 980 in a small village near Bukhara in today's Uzbekistan. By the age of 18, he was already a master of medicine, logic and philosophy. 18. While most people his age were struggling to find direction, he was treating kings and writing books that would be studied for centuries. Hold that thought, because I'll tell you in a moment how his view of knowledge can transform your confidence today. Now picture this. You walk into a room full of people. Instantly you feel small. Your thoughts rush. Your heart pounds. You think everyone is smarter, stronger, better. Ibn Sina would say, wait, where does this judgment come from? He believed most fear is built on illusion. Just like a child is afraid of the dark until they realize what's really there, you too are afraid until you see clearly. The problem isn't the room, the people, or their judgment. The problem is your perception, and perception can be changed. Coming up next, I'll show you the exact way he believed you could change it. But first, ask yourself this. What if the only thing standing between you and confidence is a single thought you've never questioned? Ibn Sina's philosophy was simple. Knowledge is power, but not just book knowledge. Knowledge of yourself. He gave the famous thought experiment of the flying man. Imagine a person created fully grown, floating in the air, with no senses, no contact with the world. Would he know he exists? Ibn Sina said yes, because self-awareness is immediate, undeniable. You don't need proof to know that you are here. So what does that mean for you? It means that your existence itself is already certain. And certainty is the root of confidence. Think about how liberating that is. You don't need someone else's approval to confirm you're valuable. You don't need likes, comments, or applause. You're already real, already meaningful. Everything else is just noise. But wait, there's more. Ibn Sina didn't stop at theory. He believed that strengthening the soul was like training a muscle. The more you exercise it with reason, reflection, and discipline, the stronger and calmer you become. Imagine if every time fear whispered in your ear, you answered it with logic, not panic. What's the worst that can happen, you'd ask? Is this fear real, or just a shadow? Step by step, your courage would grow. Let me give you a quick story. Ibn Sina once cured a prince who believed he was a cow. Yes, you heard that right. The prince refused food, saying he was only fit to be slaughtered. Everyone thought he was lost. Ibn Sina didn't argue. He played along. He told the prince he was indeed a cow, but too weak for sacrifice. So he prescribed rich foods to fatten him up. Slowly the prince regained health, then reason. What's the lesson here? Confidence often begins with meeting yourself where you are. Even if your fears seem irrational, you can outsmart them. Now ask yourself, what's your cow story? What irrational belief is tricking you into weakness? Maybe you think, I'll never be good enough. Maybe it's, people like me can't succeed. What if, like Ibn Sina, you played along for a moment, then slowly proved yourself wrong? Here's the next twist. Ibn Sina insisted that confidence isn't arrogance. True strength is calm. He warned against pride because it blinds you just as much as fear does. The confident person isn't the loudest in the room. They're the one who knows who they are, even in silence. Isn't that the kind of confidence you want? Quiet, steady, unshakable. And here's something else he'd remind you of. Your soul is always reaching upward. No matter how many times you fall, it still wants truth, still wants growth. Confidence is not about never failing. It's about trusting that you are more than your failures. So every setback is just training. Every mistake is fuel. And every time you rise again, you're closer to who you truly are. So the next time you feel small, remember Ibn Sina's flying man. You exist, you matter, you're already more than enough. Confidence doesn't begin with the crowd, it begins with you. And once you own that, no one can take it away. But this is only the beginning. In the next part, I'll reveal how Ibn Sina's vision of the soul and reason can give you practical steps to build real-world confidence, even in the face of fear. You don't want to miss this. Here's something you may not know. Ibn Sina didn't just write about the soul in lofty terms, he gave you a practical roadmap for turning fear into power. He believed that your confidence grows the same way medicine heals the body, slowly, with the right treatment and through balance. And that's the secret we're diving into now. Ask yourself this. When you lack confidence, what happens? You hesitate. You avoid opportunities. You play small. Ibn Sina would tell you that this hesitation is like a sickness of the spirit. Just as the body can be nourished with food and medicine, the soul must be nourished with knowledge, reflection, and discipline. So the real cure for insecurity isn't pretending to be strong. It's training your inner self until strength becomes natural. Think of it this way. A doctor doesn't panic when he sees a wound. He studies it, understands it, and then applies the right remedy. Ibn Sina said you should treat your fears the same way. When you notice anxiety rising, don't run. Study it. What triggered it? What thought feeds it? Once you understand it, you can apply the right medicine, a new perspective, a rational response, or a small act of courage. Little by little, the fear shrinks, and confidence grows. Here's the twist. He warned against chasing comfort. Just as the body grows stronger when challenged, the soul grows stronger when tested. That means your fear is not an enemy, it's your training ground. Each uncomfortable moment is a chance to build the muscle of courage. Isn't that powerful? The very thing you run from is the thing that could set you free. Now imagine this. You're about to give a speech, and your hands are shaking. You think, I can't do this. What would Ibn Sina tell you? He'd remind you that the fear is only in your perception. The audience isn't holding a sword over your head. The danger is imagined. And once you recognize that, you can reclaim your calm. Because confidence isn't about eliminating nerves, it's about knowing nerves don't define you. But here's another gem from Ibn Sina. He believed the human soul has layers, the basic desires, the emotions, and the rational mind. Most people get stuck in the first two layers, trapped in cravings or fears. But confidence comes when you live from the rational mind, guiding the other layers like a rider guiding a horse. If your desires pull you one way and your fears pull you another, reason can steady the reins. Suddenly you're not dragged around by emotions, you're in control, and control breeds confidence. Let me give you an analogy. Picture a storm at sea. The waves are your emotions, high, wild, unpredictable. If you're just floating, you'll be tossed around, terrified. But if you're steering the ship, if you've got a compass and a firm hand on the wheel, the storm becomes manageable. That's what Ibn Sina offered, a compass for your soul so you never feel lost in the storm. And he didn't stop there. He taught that knowledge itself is a source of courage. Why? Because ignorance creates fear. Think of when you were a child and shadows on the wall scared you. The moment you turned on the light, the fear vanished. In the same way, when you seek knowledge about yourself, about the world, about your purpose, you strip fear of its power. That's why Ibn Sina spent his life learning, writing, questioning. For him, wisdom wasn't just theory, it was medicine for the soul. Now let's circle back to confidence. What does all this mean for you today? It means you don't need to fake boldness. You don't need to force yourself to be someone you're not. Instead, you need to feed your soul, reflect on who you are, question your fears, strengthen your reason, trust that every hardship is a training ground, and remember that your worth doesn't come from outside applause. It comes from the undeniable fact that you exist, that you think, that you are capable. And if you're wondering, can this really change my life? Just look at Ibn Sina himself. He lived through political turmoil, exile, even prison. Yet he never lost his calm, never lost his focus. His confidence wasn't built on luck or status. It was built on the inner fortress of knowledge and faith. That fortress is available to you too if you're willing to build it. So here's the challenge. The next time you face fear, Pause and ask yourself, what's the truth here? Is this fear real or just a shadow? Then, take one small action anyway. Do this again and again, and you'll notice the shift. That's not just modern advice. That's Ibn Sina's timeless cure for insecurity. Confidence isn't loud, it's steady. It's the quiet voice that says, I am enough, and I can face this. And once you grasp that, fear no longer owns you. You own it. If this message inspired you, imagine what's waiting in the wisdom of other great thinkers like Rumi, Ibn Arabi, or Al-Ghazali. That's exactly what we're exploring next. So like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and watch the next one, because the journey to unshakable confidence has only just begun.